Newsfirst Newsline with Faraz Shaukat Ali.
And very good evening to you and welcome to Newsline. Today it's, this is Newsline Live, but today it's a recording and we're delighted to have a very special three guests. We're delighted to have three guests today on the program, marking the importance of our guests and their perspective on life in Sri Lanka as a whole. This is a very serious matter, and obviously I know that you will all be listening. If you have any comments at the end, you may send it to us by SMS or WhatsApp 0772 300 305. And this morning, record that bit. Today we have got in the studio, in no particular order, go from left to right, shall I? This is Liana, who's joining us. Very good day to you, Liana.
Hi, good day to you too.
And we have here in the middle, we have Danuka, and good day to you too, Danuka.
Thank you. So to you as well.
Thank you. And on the end there is Kitmi. Good day to you, Kitmi.
Good day to you, Uncle. Hi.
Thank you for all of you for joining us on Newsline. I suppose all of you must have watched Newsline at some point, is it?
Yes.
You have?
Yeah. Yes, we have.
Okay, good. Have you watched me?
No.
No, she hasn't. But grandfather has.
Yes.
Right. Can I ask you? We've got various questions, all right? And the first of all, I'd like to ask all of you, really, how are you coping with this thing called COVID?
COVID is a very bad disease that infects many people, and it affects our lives both physically and financially. And because of COVID, we are unable to do school and we have to do online school. But that's for some children. Other children also do not have school at all.
Not even online?
No.
And what's your take on it, Kitmi?
I think COVID is a very difficult time for all of us, but I think it's important that we remain hopeful that tomorrow will be better than today, because I think at least we have the opportunity of going to school online, whereas there may be other people who don't have that opportunity. So I think it's important that we remain hopeful.
And Liana?
Well, for COVID, we don't have school. We have to study online, and I think it's really bored to stay at home. So I'm really hoping to reopen in school, and I wish to go to school again. So, yeah.
Is it? You said it's boring at home.
Yeah, it's really boring.
Have you got tired of your mom and dad?
A little.
Right.
Yeah, they shout a lot.
Oh, they shout a lot at
Yeah.
you? Do they shout at you?
Yes, they shout at me. They tell me to do work and.
Oh my
Yeah.
God. Right. And have you got any siblings? You got brothers and sisters?
Yeah, I have two brothers, one elder brother and a younger brother.
Right. Have they got names?
Yes, they've got names.
And they are?
My elder brother is Liam and my younger brother is Landon.
Right. And do you think that Liam and Landon join you in your whole thing when you say that it's boring staying at home?
No, my elder brother always plays games in the phone.
Ah.
And my younger brother fights with me.
Right. Do you whack him back?
Yes.
And then what did he do?
And then he whacks me back.
Oh, she doesn't run off to mommy?
No.
Or to daddy?
No.
Or grandfather, because grandfather watches the program, doesn't he?
No, my grandfather lives separately, not with us.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
All right. And what about you, Danuka? What's your take on staying at home?
Staying at home, I agree with her, because it's very boring, and the worst thing is I do not have any siblings and it's very boring, and I'm sick and tired of talking to my parents only. I want to talk to a child who is my age.
I've got no more words now, but we'll have to find some. no siblings. What are you going to do about that? Have you spoken to your dad?
Yeah, I've spoken to my dad. He said it's too much trouble to have 2 kids. So, because I'm whining and whining to him for him to get me a brother, he just bought me a dog.
He bought your dog?
Yeah.
But a dog can't talk.
A dog can't talk, but it's man's best friend, and it's a good alternative for man.
Right. And you treat dog. Dog has a name.
Yeah, the dog has a name. It's based on his color. His name is a Blackie.
Blackie. Blackie. Look who's on television, Blackie.
Hello, Blackie.
Right. So you're now good friends with Blackie.
Yeah.
Right.
He's also very angry all the time. If someone comes to hurt me, like say my father gets mad at me for something,
Right.
if he tries to hit me, he raises his hands and his tone gets like really deep. My dog notices that and barks at my dog to stay away.
To bark back at your dad.
Yeah.
I think I like this, Blackie. It's boring at home.
Yeah.
And what do you miss? What do you miss about school then?
I miss playing with my friends. Like now, all my social life has gone downhill. We just have to talk with our parents, and we can't keep in touch with our friends. But I try my best. I call my friends on weekends, play games with them if I can. But that's not even near as fun playing with my friends physically.
Physically meeting them.
Yeah.
So this online business is a bit boring as well.
Yeah.
Right. How are the signals? Are they good signals?
Oh.
Or Mobitel or anything like that?
Yeah, it's average. But the most thing I hate about online school is that sometimes when I'm doing a very important lesson, say I'm doing maths, my favorite subject, when I'm doing it, then the screen closes and it says no connection, no internet. That's what I hate about online school.
Listen up, all your networks. You're getting it from the customers. You need to up your game. And keep me. What's your take on education during the COVID?
I think it's very challenging to have education online. So it's been very difficult to concentrate, and the connections are bad, as he said, and it's very difficult. But I'm glad that I've got the opportunity to spend this lockdown with my family.
And have you? Danuka said it's boring. He's fed up of talking to his parents. Do you share those views?
I know it's boring, but I'm very happy that I get to spend a lot of time with my parents, because I think earlier we haven't spent this much time together, I think.
And your parents, so they don't go to work either. They're also doing things online, are they?
Yes, I think my dad is getting used to the technology.
But how old is your dad?
He's about in his 50s and 60s.
About 60. So does he know tech? Can he send an SMS now? Now that he's stayed at home?
He's learned to do that. I think I've taught him to send messages and join Zoom calls. It's been interesting.
So you miss technology?
Yes, I help him around with the things. So yeah.
What about Mummy? Did she use the telephone?
She uses the telephone. I think she's more comfortable with the telephones than my father. So.
Oh, right. It's incredible things that come up to light with this pandemic. Now then, I was going. You must be hearing your parents because you're stuck with them at home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you must hear what's going on more than normal.
Yeah.
So have you heard them saying anything about rice and sugar and garlic and?
Yes.
Yeah, I hear sometimes.
My father complains, it's very expensive. Save all the food. Eat everything.
Ah.
Even my dad says the same thing.
And what about you, Kitten?
Yes, I think I've heard that too, and I think the president declared a food emergency recently. So.
Food emergency. Do you know, today I was reading the papers and they're talking about a shortage of rice.
Yes.
This is likely to affect you, Danuka.
Yes, because rice is like my main meal,
Right.
and like losing rice can affect my diet. So I'd have to move to pasta, bread, but the main meal is rice, so I will get affected. I would not like it, but if it's gone, I have to get used to it. There's nothing I can do about it.
Kitney, have you heard your parents say that things are very expensive?
Yes, I think all the prices of the goods, including milk, sugar, everything's gone up, and I think it's challenging for the country and the people as a community of a developing country. So.
And Leanna, Kitney just said about milk, there's shortage and so on. Are you aware of how much of work your mum and your dad do to try and get you the milk at home?
Sometimes I don't really drink a lot of milk.
Right.
But my brother does. But my mom and dad, it's hard to like buy stuff because it's overpriced.
Right.
So somehow, but they give us to eat. But it's really hard.
Do you feel sorry for your mum and dad?
Yes, I do.
How would you? This question is to any of you. How would you sort this problem out? What do you think the government? You know who the government is, don't you?
Yes.
Right, the government. How would you ask them to solve this problem?
Like, because it's a very hard time, people can hardly earn money because of this corona, and because the prices are up, many people do not have anything in their stomach and go to sleep. So I recommend lowering the prices so people can afford to buy the goods, as people do not have their jobs anymore because of corona. So I recommend lowering the price of the goods.
Well, I hope that Basil Rajapaksa, the Minister of Finance, is listening to this, because Dhanuka has given you a solution, and the Consumer Affairs Authority and so on, and Satosa and everybody else. I hope you've just listened to what Dhanuka said. Very important. And what about you, Liana? What do you think that they ought to be doing? This they meaning the government.
And I agree with him. It's really hard to do stuff because of the price. Anyway, I hope the government understands.
Do you think they understand?
No, I don't think so.
Oh.
They won't take advice from children.
Yeah, they
They
don't.
won't take advice from children?
They
But
don't.
you are the future. You will be the government sometime.
Yeah, we are the next generation.
Right. And what about you, Kikmi?
I do agree with him. I think the government is actually trying their best to do it, but it's difficult for everyone. And I also do recommend for them to try to reduce the prices of the goods so that the normal people can afford it.
And have you heard of something called a US dollar?
Yes.
Yes.
You have.
Yes.
You've heard.
Yes.
Everyone seems to be talking about the
Yeah.
dollar rate.
The dollar is like,
Do you know what that means?
yeah, the price of the dollar is rising very high, and now about 200 rupees equal to one US dollar.
Right, it's a little bit more than that now.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
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 So you've heard about that as well.
Not much. I really don't watch anything. Like, I normally watch a lot of films and I don't watch news a lot.
Is that because most of the news is bad?
Yeah, sometimes my mom and dad say they lie a lot.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I hope the producers are listening to this.
Uh-oh.
What about you, Kik? We've got a break coming up, but what about you? What do you say about this?
I think I've also heard that the dollar rate's rising and it's above 205 and it's rising. But yeah, I think it's a difficult time and the Sri Lankan rupee price is decreasing. So yeah.
On that note, we'll go for a short break, take a look at this evening's headlines from the Primetime News team. We'll work very hard, and we'll see you on the other side of the break.
Newsfirst Newsline with Faraz Shaukat Ali. News First, Newsline with Faraz Shaukat Ali.
And welcome back to Newsline. Today it's a recording and I'm in conversation with Kitmi, Danuka with a H, and Liana. And I've got some questions. This is all for you, right? Let's see. If you were to run a ministry in Sri Lanka, what would it be? Education, transport, health, or none of them?
Education?
Education. Right. Danuka, what would you do if you were to run a ministry in Sri Lanka? What would it be?
Yes, I would also do education because I think Sri Lanka's education is going down and I wish to up the aesthetics, like make it better, because some Sri Lankan people are not educated. So I wish to change that by opening a free school for people to join without giving any money.
Absolutely no money. But most of our education system is supposed to be free. But we take your point.
Yeah, because of books, sometimes people can't afford it.
Oh.
So I would provide free supplies.
Right.
So I can educate all the people in Sri Lanka and make our country a better place.
I love that. One Sri Lanka.
Yeah.
For everyone. Excellent. And what about you, Kitmi? Which would you choose? If you're only given a choice of the three, which would you choose?
I think I would also take education. I think the education system in our country needs to change, because I think we need to create a future generation with practical knowledge and more common sense. So I think we need to improve the methods of learning in our curriculum instead of, getting us to memorize things and, use our practical knowledge to improve and make a better Sri Lanka.
Yeah.
Do you believe in a one Sri Lanka?
Of course I do. I think we all need to unite as one country if we ever want to take this country forward.
What do you children say to some people who wanted to split it all up and have different parts of Sri Lanka?
I really don't like that idea. Like in ancient kingdoms, in ancient times in Sri Lanka, we usually had many kingdoms. But do you ever think about why that kingdoms were destroyed and only one country is there now without any splitting of Sri Lanka? It's because that's a better idea than splitting up the kingdom without having any wars against our own country. So I wish to unite the country as one, Muslims, Tamils, anyone, to one country.
There you are. There you go. All right, so now we've asked all of you. So you say education as well, do you?
Yeah.
What about health and so on then? What do you think about that, Danuka?
I don't think Sri Lanka needs, because hold on, the ministry, like if you focus on education, we can educate people into becoming doctors, and that itself helps the health ministry.
Bravo, bravo. I can almost hear the Republic of Sri Lanka clapping there. And thank you for that. Now then, I want to be a bit more current, all right?
Okay.
Have you all heard of the Dhammika Panya? And I'd like to ask you, what is the Dhammika Panya? I'll give you three potential answers. What is the Dhammika Panya? Is it honey sold by Uncle Dhammika? Is it medicine for COVID? Or is it a magic potion?
I think,
would you like to answer first?
yeah,
All
I
right.
think it's the second one, a medicine for COVID.
It's supposed to be a medicine for COVID. All right. What about you? What do you say?
I also agree with him. The second one, medicine for COVID.
That's what
Yeah.
what it is. And what about you, Kitmi?
I also think it's a medicine for COVID made by, indigenous methods of Sri Lankan Ayurvedic medicine.
Right. If you had a chance to be on top of these places, where would you choose to be? A, on top of the Sigiri rock. 2, Mount Everest. 3, the Lotus Tower, also known as the Nelum Pokuna. Kuluna. Where would you be? Let's go with Liana first.
I would like to be in Sigiri on top of the mountain.
Okay. And Danuka?
I would choose the Sigiri as well. I would have chosen Mount Everest, but if you get up, you feel you accomplish something because it's the highest point of Himalayas. But you don't, because when you go up, it's very cold.
Right.
So in order to tell that you accomplished it,
Yeah.
you have to start all over again by going down, and that's
Oh.
also a little harder. So we don't know whether you'll die or survive.
Can't you use, what about making a WhatsApp call from the top of Everest and say, hello, I'm here?
There's proof.
Right. Well, you can do a selfie.
Okay, must be editing.
Oh, crumbs. There's all these things. So how do you prove that you're on top of Mount Everest?
That's a good question.
Right. Maybe you can stick a flag up there, but then you still have to come down and tell the people to look up again.
Yeah, or you could light a fire rocket.
A fire rocket
Yeah,
on the top of Mount Everest.
yeah.
Right. Now that's a good thought process. We'll tell the troops at Gamada to do that, shall we? Now then, and what about you, Kitmi?
I think I would also choose the Sigiri.
Really? So poor Lotus Tower didn't even get one there. If you had superpowers to be invisible, right? Who will you visit? President Sir Gotabaya Nandasena Rajapaksa, Joe Biden, or Santa Claus? You first, Liana.
I would like to see Santa Claus.
And what about you?
That's a difficult question to pick between two presidents.
And one Santa Claus.
Yes, and a Santa Claus. I think I would pick Joe Biden.
Joe Biden, right. And Danuka.
I hope none of the little kids are watching this, but Santa Claus isn't real.
Right.
I hope no one's little kids are watching this. But if Santa was real, I would have visited Santa Claus to look at the naughty and nice list.
Right. And there's another one. This is all current. How do you like to school? Through Zoom, by going physically, or getting on top of a tree? You first.
Physically.
Physically, not on the top of a tree.
Nope.
All right then. And Kitmi?
Definitely physically.
Physically.
Yes.
What about you, Liana?
Physically.
Physically.
Yeah.
So none of you, but there are some children. Have you heard this? That there are some children.
People try to get signal from on top of a tree.
Yes. Do you? Are you envious of them? Or do you feel sorry for them? What's your reaction to them? What about you, Kitmi? What do you think about these children who are up on the trees?
I do feel sorry for them. I think the network connections in the country hasn't been established all over. So I think it's important that you provide internet connection accessible to everyone.
And what about you? What's your further take on this, Liana? You know, you must have heard that you must have heard grandfather saying this, that there are some children who have to study from the top of trees because they can't get the signals down there, so they climb up.
Well, really, I haven't heard about that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Do you feel sorry if you had to do that? What would you think if you had to go
Well,
up on a
I
tree?
feel sorry for the children because they don't have any connections.
Right.
So,
And what would you say to the uncles and aunties who run our telephone services? You know, I can't really say their names, but we all know who they are.
Yeah.
What would you say to them, Liana? What would
Because
you say?
they establish connections, I think, mostly for profit. I wish a non-profitable connection that helps all of Sri Lanka, and that's a good enough profit for them.
Do you agree, Liana?
yes.
Right. And here's another question. If you were the president of Sri Lanka, and we've got absolutely no problem because we've had male presidents and female president. We had one female president. All right. If you were the president of Sri Lanka, what is your solution to these problems? Wild elephants, street dogs, and signal problems, dial-up connections. What would you say, Liana? How would you sort it out? Do you want to talk about the wild elephants, the street dogs, or the signals?
Signals.
And how would you get them to sort of, Danuka said about he'd like to see a free service.
Yeah, me too. I would like to see a free service because some children can't study because they don't have any devices or anything, and some have connection problems, issues. So I really hope they get everything.
And what's your message out there to the people who may be thinking of doing something good? Would you urge them to go and help the people who have no devices?
Well, I would ask them to help the people who don't have devices. So I hope they take my advice and help them.
Thank you. And Danuka, I can see you waiting to say this. Tell us what your solution will be. If you were the president of Sri Lanka, what is your solution to these problems? Wild elephants and street dogs.
We usually focus too much on humans. Now we are focusing only on humans about corona, but we are forgetting about other animals. So I will choose street dogs. I've seen constant heartbreaking videos of dogs trying to eat something or getting attacked or getting run over. So I wish to make up some more charities that help dogs. So when a normal dog passes by, I'm going to send some people with motorbikes to other places, and if they see a street dog, they use their supplies to feed, give water, and also carry them to an orphanage for dogs.
Right.
And hoping for someone to adopt them.
Thank you very much, Danuka. And finally, Kitmi, if you were the president of Sri Lanka, what is your solution to the problems?
I think I agree with Danuka. We haven't focused much on animals. I think the human-elephant conflict has been a huge conflict over the years. And, elephants are these innocent animals that, they can't talk. But I think the humans have invaded the space of the wild animals, and we've taken over their lands, and we've built houses. And today we are complaining that the elephants are running over our houses, they're breaking our walls, they're breaking things. But I think it's important that we regulate laws that tell the people that you cannot go and build houses in forest areas.
And last question, quick answer please. If the country runs out of petrol and diesel, what would be your solution? A, switching to walking. B, solar power vehicles. Or 3, get on Harry Potter's broomstick. What would you say, Liana?
Well, I would choose walking. It's easy.
It's easy.
Yeah.
And Danuka?
I would not choose walking because it is good for the environment.
Yeah.
But if you want to go, say, Kandy, like my grandparents live in Kandy, if I want to go from Kandy from Colombo, that will take days, weeks, and even we could get sore feet.
Right. And so you would therefore get on Harry Potter's broomstick?
No, not that. That's not real. I would wish to make solar-powered cars.
Right.
Because it's science, and I believe
And
in science.
last but not least, Kitmi, if the country runs out of petrol and diesel, what would be your solution? Switch to walking, solar powers, or get on Harry Potter's broomstick?
I think I would also prefer solar power vehicles because I think our country has enough sunlight to manufacture solar powered vehicles.
Wonderful. And last question please, are you all looking forward to eating organic food?
I think organic food is a very good methodology of introducing, healthy food.
Right.
But I'm not sure about how you could do this in the long run because I've seen news and I've seen people saying that they're unable to provide a healthy living for their families because this organic thing's not helping them with the enough amount of food.
Thank you. And Danuka, have you got a quick response to that one?
Yes, organic food is good, it's healthy, but I don't think children mostly relate to this idea because they like junk food more. It's going to be hard, but it's for the best. So we must eat organic food other than junk food. We must force our taste buds to liking organic food for children who do not like
I think there's a vacancy for you at the Presidential Secretariat. Sir will be wanting to talk to you. And what about you, Liana?
I also agree with Danuka because children also like to eat a lot of junk food, but eating healthy food is also like good for your body.
So what do you think of Uncle Sir then? Uncle Sir says we all eat organic food. So do we make junk food with organic food? Can we do that?
I'm not sure about it because I also like a lot of junk food.
Right, okay. And that's the way it was on Newsline this evening. Of course, this has been brought about by a very important event, which is, of course, International Children's Day. So, on that note, thank you very much, Kitmi, Danuka, and Liana, for being here on Newsline, celebrating International Children's Day. And as always, thank you for watching. It's now time for the primetime news, and as always, God bless you.